What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's Dr. Delatorro. Welcome back to Motivational Monday, baby. What's live? What's cracking? What's popping, everyone? Listen, hope and pray that you're doing wonderfully well. I'm really pumped and excited to be here with you all today. We're going to have an awesome time. Cannot wait to add value today in this incredible conversation. We're talking about chapter 2 of our brand new book, Shift into a Higher Gear, Better Your Best, and Live Life to the Fullest. So pumped and excited, y'all. We're in chapter 2, which is all about, see, each one of the chapters in this incredible book starts with the action verb shift. Every single one of the chapter titles in this book starts with the action verb shift. And so I'm pumped, I'm excited, I'm ready for us to take it to that next level. So fire off in the comments, let me know you're in the building. I like these sessions to be as interactive as possible. So hopefully I'm catching you if you're on your lunch break or if you're just taking a break from business or whatever. I want you to all to get your pen and paper out because you're going to need it. We're going to have an awesome conversation today. And I'm so pumped and excited about it. So y'all, let's rock and roll. Let's have a good time. What I love about this particular book and what I love about this concept that's so powerful is that I think every single one of us really want to live our lives to the fullest. But one of the things where we constantly get stuck in is this zone of coasting, right? And let's just be honest, y'all. It happens to the best of us. There are certain times in life when we just decide to just coast, right? And we've all been guilty of it, right? But what does coasting really mean? Coasting means moving but not being driven by the engine. I'm gonna say that again. Coasting means that you're moving but you're not being driven by the engine. Think about it. If you're on a bicycle, right? And you're pedaling, right? You're building up acceleration and momentum, and then you stop pedaling and the bike still keeps going. You're coasting at that point. Does that make sense? We've all had those moments when we're in a vehicle, we push the gas and then we let off the gas and we let the car kind of coast a little bit. But when you are literally coasting in life and business, that means that you're kind of just going along to get along and you're really not being intentional about making sure that you are under power. In other words, you're disconnected from the engine, my friend. And if we're going to go to the next level, and if we're going to kick butt and take names, if we're going to live our dreams to the fullest, we have to be really intentional about really connecting and really being connected so that we're actually in gear and we're in drive and we're moving forward powerfully, y'all. So I really just want to encourage you today on this Motivational Monday to get out of coasting, right? Because coasting can show up in so many areas. We can coast academically with certain classes. We can coast in our relationships. Say, okay, well, once we got that mate or that boo, we no longer have to work to make the relationship incredible. Coasting can show up in so many different places. For example, you can be coasting in your physical fitness. You just don't even really care anymore. You don't care what you eat. You don't care if you hydrate. You don't care if you exercise. We're all guilty of coasting, right? You can coast in your relationship. You can coast in your finances. You're like, you know what? It's a pandemic, so whatever I make is enough. And so we just kind of have this nonchalant kind of laissez-faire kind of a disconnected, right? That's how you know you're coasting. Again, when you're coasting, even from a gears perspective, mechanically, right? The engine is not connected to the transmission, so you're not in a gear. You're not driving. You're not in drive. You're kind of somewhat in neutral. We're going to talk more about that in one of the other chapters, right? Right? Shift into a drive to avoid the other 3 gears of mediocrity. But y'all, I think a lot of us are coasting in life, and y'all, we can't afford to coast. And so let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you're coasting? Do you feel like you're just kind of going along to get along? No day has any specific power or meaning to it because you're constantly just kind of like, well, whatever comes in the day is what comes. Whatever happens in the day happens. And I don't really have much say, much wherewithal, much certainty around how I do what I do. Does that make sense? I think it's so vitally important, y'all, so incredibly important that if you really want to be out there kicking butt and take names, you've got to get out of coasting and you have to learn to live life, what I like to call 3D. Now, 3D means something special to me, and I know we live in this 4K HD world, but 3D means something to me because I love 3D movies. I love 3D movies, and I love going to the movie theater and having the sound and having the bass and having the whole experience. But I love putting those 3D glasses on and seeing all the different dimensions and elements that they put into the film that you don't see when you watch the film from one dimensional perspective, which is how we tend to see it in our homes, right? So a movie that's shown in 3D looks a lot different than a movie that's shown in single definition, right? And the 3D means different definitions. And so, just like how movies, you get better picture quality, overall experience of the film is that much better, right? When you're watching a movie in 3D, well, guess what? When you're living life in 3D, it's the same thing. So here's what I firmly believe: to really understand, we must process it in 3D. And what I'm trying to encourage you is that we need to learn, y'all, to live three-dimensionally. We have to learn how to live our length of years. We have to learn how to live our width of years and our depth of years. We got to learn how to live three-dimensional. Most of us live one-dimensionally. We live long, and we say, okay, if a person lives 60, 70, 80 years long, they lived a full life. Well, not necessarily. If you lived 80 shallow years, you might have lived long, but you certainly didn't live full if the 80 years were shallow. So we want to learn how to live life what's called three-dimensionally. Come on, somebody. Fire off in the comments if this is making sense to you. We celebrate length of years in terms of birthdays. And the reason why birthdays are so easy to determine and calculate is because it's measurable. You can calculate the date that you were born and the date that you died. That's easily calculatable. You can calculate the anniversary of each year that you were put on this earth, and we call it a birthday. But how come we never go to the restaurant and celebrate a happy with day? How come we never go and take a trip to Bali and have a happy depth day? How come we never celebrate width and depth of years? We only celebrate length of years. See, if you only celebrate the length of your year, you're living one-dimensionally. But look at all the things that you're missing out on because you don't have the 3D glasses that you could put on that will show you life in way more full spectrum. Does that make sense? Without being able to have those lenses on to see the dinosaurs coming right at your face or the spiders coming right at your face and give you the jump scare, right? Give you all the jump scares that come along with that, y'all. We miss out on that when we don't have the perspective of really living life three-dimensionally. And one of the things that I firmly believe is that we have to learn to live life three-dimensionally if we want to live life to the fullest, because the fullness of something is determined by length, width, and depth, not just length. So I'm glad that you got a lot of birthdays behind you. But how's your width going? How's your depth going? Well, Dr. Delatorro, what do you mean by that? You can be at a job for 40 years and you went in and you clocked in and you did the same thing every day for 40 years. So yeah, you had a 40-year career at that location, but did you have width and depth at that job or that career? Did you learn 3 or 4 other skill sets so you could be cross-trainable, right? Did you mentor new people that came into the company to kind of add some width and some depth to your relationships? Did you meet people from different parts of the world? Did you travel to the different areas where this corporation or this organization exists to really see the fullness and width and depth and breadth of all that this opportunity has to offer? Did you travel? Did you get cross-trained? Did you promote other people? Did you volunteer? Did you serve philanthropically within the organization, right? Like, okay, you can date a person for a year. I mean, you could date a person for a year and do the same thing every day. Or you could date a person for 3 months and have more impact in a person's life in 3 months than someone who's been married to them for 10 years. Why? Because if you treat that person in 3 months with length, width, and depth, you have more impact on that person in that short amount of time than someone who's had a longer term impact. Watch this. Here's the reason why. Watch this. This is so amazing. Here's the reason why I know this to be true. I have had clients who have booked me for speaking, and they say, man, you did in an hour what we haven't been able to get clients to do and speakers to do, and they've been coming to this conference every year for 10 years. They had length, they didn't have width and depth. Does that make sense? So what we have to learn how to start doing is we got to really start learning how to live life three-dimensionally. Y'all, it's so vitally important that we really learn how to live life in a much greater capacity than we're living it right now, y'all. You can have, I just think it's, how many of you all have ever met someone, right? And you felt more of a connection to someone that you met, and you met them early, and they had a greater, deeper impact on your life in a short span of time than someone you've known since childhood. right? Why? It's because length is only one part of it, y'all. It's width and depth. I can't tell you how many people come up to me. They say, "Man, I hear this at events all the time." People will come up to me afterwards. They say, "Man, I heard you talk for an hour, and your voice and your information and your content has impacted me more in this hour than people who have been in my life for 20 years." Length of years is only one dimension. And if you show up with a 3D impact, a 3D type of love, a 3D type of transformation, a 3D type of energy, you can do in less time what it takes people a whole lot more who had way more time still couldn't do, which speaks to the second element of 3D living. You don't have to believe me. If you think about it, like when you think about what is the common denominator between people like um, um, Paul Walker, right? People like Dustin Diamond, right? From Saved by the Bell. Think about Aaliyah. Think about people like Bruce Lee, Selena, um, Chadwick Boseman, right? Princess Diana, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, the personhood of Jesus Christ, right? When you think about Heath Ledger, right? When you think about these people, right? Bob Marley, Chris Farley, right? Bruce Lee, all these people who changed human history. None of those people that I just named to you, not a single one of those people that I just named to you lived beyond the age of 45 years old. All of them died very young. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, all these people, the personhood of Jesus Christ, all these amazing human people who changed human history didn't live beyond the age of 45. And they had a major impact on the planet, not because they had all this length to their years, but because they had width and depth to their years. So, my friend, here's the question. What does 3D living look like to you? What does going 3D in your business look like to you? What does 3D living look like emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, in your family? What does 3D living look like to you in terms of life mastery and mental fortitude, right? We admire people that live life to the fullest. We don't admire folks who just kind of are out there humdrum. We admire people who are out there living life to the fullest, my friend. And that's exactly what we want for you. The reason why we want you to grab this book, and the reason why we want you to grab, so make sure you pick, if you don't have this book, make sure you grab the book from Shifting to a Higher, get Shifting to a Higher Gear. You can grab this book on Amazon. You can grab it on Audible. Yes, it's me. It's my voice on Audible. You can also grab our workbook from shiftingtoahighergear.com, our website, shiftingtoahighergear.com. You can get the workbook, which is a 185-page activity guide, exercise guide. It is absolutely incredible. It's a journal. It's a workbook. It's amazing. So and mine's all tethered up because I use it all the time. So get yourself a copy of our workbook by going to shiftingtoahighergear.com. Get the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Get it on Audible so you can listen to me read it to you. But this book is so transformational and it's so impactful and it's so powerful because it's really going to challenge you in some very, very key and crucial areas to really push you to that next level. Okay. And so I really want to encourage you to get out of coasting and really begin to start to live life three-dimensionally, my friend, because life is meant to be lived to the fullest. So I want you to think about what are some things you can do, and you can maybe journal about this. Grab your journal and start to ask yourself some of these questions. How can I have a wider experience with a person? How can I have a deeper experience with a person? How can I deepen my relationship with my clients? How can I widen my perspective on a topic, right? How can I widen my viewpoint? How can I widen my wealth portfolio? How can I deepen my skill set? Right? Maybe you know level one of a certain subject matter, but you don't know level 4, 5, and 6. So how can you deepen your knowledge and your information about a subject? Right? So you could read 100 books on 100 topics and you went wide, or you could read 100 books on one topic and you can go deep. Does that make sense? So I think it's one of those things that you kind of have to say, okay, how do I begin to really start to live life to the fullest by really, in other words, watch this. Like let me use travel for example, right? You can go to a city and have a very shallow experience in that city. You can go to a city, fly in, right? You can go fly in. Like I'm guilty of this as a speaker, right? You get to see, and the city's awesome. There's so much that the city has to offer. If you're in that city and you go do what you have to do professionally, get right back on a plane and come back home, you had a very shallow experience. You didn't get a chance to really explore the restaurants and the towns and the nightlifes and the language and the culture and the special energy of the city, the what they're known for, what their food, the museums, the art deco, the culture, all that stuff. You missed all that. Why? Because you blew in, you did your thing, and you blew right back out. So while you might have been to all these cities all around the country, did you get a chance to go wide and deep in those cities? Did you go? You might know a lot of people on social media, so you might have a good length of relationships on social media. But have you gone wide and deep with those relationships? I found this on the web. Thank you for listening to my conversation and finding something on the web. Phone did that. So the question becomes, y'all, how can we go wider and deeper with our connections, wider and deeper with our relationships? And I think the more we can get clear on that, the more we can start to live life 3D, right? So I just want that's the whole purpose. So this week's Motivational Monday is really about getting you to go wider and deeper with what it is that you know, wider and deeper with what it is that you care about, wider and deeper with whatever it is that, because listen, we got the length thing down. We like, as long as you wake up each day, you're going to hit length. As long as you wake up each morning, you're going to hit length. Not too worried about that. I'm more concerned about how wide and how deep you're living. Does that make sense? And I think if we really tap more into how we live wider and deeper, we can literally leave this world better than the way we found it. So one of the questions, I'm going to take a question or two, but one of the questions that I often get around this subject matter is, well, Dr. Delatorro, give me an example of how I can widen or deepen. So for example, like one of the things that I decided to do in my parenting was have a wider, deeper relationship with my daughters. I didn't want to just be a dad that tells them what to do all the time and pays for things for them and stuff like that. So I have a wide and deep relationship with my daughters. So we take road trips a lot. The girls love driving. They love us taking family trips. So we take road trips a lot, right? They get their blankets and pillows and some of their friends, and we just do a road trip. We get on the highway, we stop off, and we go to different places, and we get their favorite stuff, and we just make it a fun experience. We fly places, we do the whole 9 yards, right? I know who their friends are. They have functions and gatherings at my house, right? I get to know their friends. I get to know what their friends like. I know their friends on a first name basis. We go wide and deep with that relationship. I ask my daughters on a regular basis, I say, is there anything in your life that I haven't asked you enough about? Is there any itch that you have as that you wish that I would scratch as a dad? I ask my daughters these questions. Why? To go deep and go wide with them. I said, is there an area emotionally? Do I compliment you enough as a father? Do I celebrate you enough as a dad? I ask my daughters these questions. Why? Because I want a deep and wide relationship with them. Does that make sense? So I think it's so important that we have those kinds of relationships. And it's just a matter of asking the right questions. Am I showing up enough for you in this area? What else do you need from me as a CEO? What else do you need from me as a leader? Right? And I always try to over deliver in that way. And I think the more we can show up like that, I think the more powerful and more transformational that we will be. So listen, y'all, I hope and pray that you have enjoyed this week's Motivational Monday. I hope you're getting great value out of this stuff. I'm telling you, get your hands on this stuff. Join our Facebook group. It's called the Shift Into a Higher Gear Global Biker Posse. Get the book, get the workbook. And if you have these materials and you have not left us a review on Amazon, what are you waiting for? Go on Amazon, leave us a review. The algorithm loves it when our readers actually leave us reviews. And I love it as well because I read every single one of them. So please make sure you leave us a review on Amazon. Leave us a review on Audible if you enjoy the content, because we really, and you just got it on Audible. That's awesome. You will love it. It's my voice narrating the whole thing back to you. So you can have the book, and right here, and boom, you could be. And y'all, I listen to my own audiobook all the time. Why? Because the content blesses me, it challenges me, it pushes me, and it stretches me to continue to take it to the next level. And that's exactly what I want for you. So if you've got the audiobook, leave us a review on Audible. Let people know how incredible that book is on Audible. Get these resources into your possession. And y'all, let's shift our lives and our businesses and our careers into a higher gear. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm honored to work with you. I'm honored to serve you. And I hope that you continue to share this YouTube channel with everybody that you know. Tell them, subscribe to youtube.com/Delatorro. Tell them to subscribe here, turn on the notifications button, and all the stuff they got to do so you'll always be notified when we're going live. Join us every single Monday at 12 noon Eastern for Motivational Mondays. I'll see you same bat time, same bat channel next Monday at noon. Do me a favor right now, go into your calendar and just go ahead and block it off. So you know to tap in at noon every single Monday, and you'll see us here. We're gonna be rocking and rolling, adding value so that you can have the best week you possibly can. Let's start strong and let's carry strong. Know that you are loved and celebrated and appreciated. And know that I'm somewhere around the world believing in your total success. Listen, if you have not registered for our 20-year anniversary, make sure that you do us a favor and check out our social media. Follow the link in our Instagram to go celebrate, to go join us for our 20-year celebration. We're celebrating 20 years in business this year, y'all. It's going to be absolutely incredible. If you're watching this after the celebration happens, that's great too. We were inviting you before you saw it. But listen, we're excited about this. We're excited. So many amazing things happening. So make sure you check out our Instagram page, follow our link tree, our link in bio tree. You'll see all the great things we got coming up. It's going to be absolutely, absolutely incredible. And we want to see your face in the place. So God bless you guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you soon. All right. Have a great day.